Welcome to the High-Tech Investments News Report for week 26. The news report covers some of the many investments projects High-Tech Investments is currently involved in so you can follow our progress. We hope you will enjoy this news feed and look forward to your comments and remarks.
Hi, Bo here, and welcome back to this week's news report, where it's time again to have a look what happened in the past week on all our platforms, all our trading EAs. I can tell you already now, there is certainly good news out there, because in the prior week, everything was slowing down, profit was very low, and this particular week in here, definitely profit has exploded once again. Very nice to see. We do also have some extra drawdowns on some of the EAs in here. It is still very manageable for most of them, so that is all good news. And we also have a new video out. This is the first in the series on how to create a portfolio. I'm going to explain a bit more about it later on in the program, exactly what this particular one covers. And we have also a new video from Expert Forex and Alex. Very exciting one. Also, this particular one here, I'm going to go through in a bit more detail later on. It's only the first video that is out on this particular subject in here, but it looks tremendously good. And obviously, once we get our hands on it, then you'll be the first one to know a bit more about this too. And we have, of course, our copy link service. We have a couple of new EAs that we're going to be adding in there also. Which ones? Well, you just have to watch this video all the way to the end, because we're going to cover all of it, including what kind of profits we're going to be making. So when it comes to Yieldnodes, there's not really much happening here. So no updates from Steve Woods or the rest of the management team in here. Everything is very quiet as usual. Unfortunately, we go straight over to the audit coin reserves just to check on the masternodes that are running. Now we can see that the total coins owned by Yieldnodes and the participators has actually gone up for this particular week in here. But if we have a look down on the masternodes running, that is pretty much the same. We can see both PNY 292, same last week as this particular week here. And again, also for the SAPP coin, it's also the same again, 3,979. Nothing has actually moved for this particular week. When it comes to the coin, well, there's again very little movement. We left it where the red circle is in here last time. Then it's gone ahead on the dotted line. We saw some buying, we saw some selling. Pretty much the coin is still very much in the same place as it's been here now for more than a year. But the staking is certainly taking off here for the month of June when it comes to the SAPP coin. We had another good week, 19.4% and more than 100,000 SAPP. So that means that now taking up the overall to 634,000 and continues to actually track in. We get a lot of different staking every single 5 or 10 minutes or thereabouts. It has been quite crazy to see the difference comes out. The number is a bit lower, as you can see right now. It's 78.40 SAPP in here. Obviously nice, but when you have no value to the coin or no interest in it, it obviously matters a lot less. PNY, that is still a bit more under control. We managed to get about 3.2 or 4,655 PNY out of it. We are now getting very close to the 150,000 mark for the PNY. We can see that the month of June has been quite good, but not anything closely or remotely close to April and May. But still very good month so far, and obviously also even a very good week in here. With Bitcoin, that has also been a better week. We actually left it last time at 102,000, where the red circle is here. Since then, it actually tracked up again to around 108,000, and then it's been pretty much flat all the way through. Very unlike what Bitcoin normally does, a lot of fluctuation. Here, everything is pretty much grinded to a halt at the moment, and we'll have to see if it's going to try and break through the $110,000 mark again, or it's going to take another lower level. In the meantime, let's go and have a look at the Wave Liberator, because that one did perform at a higher level. For week 26, we had the cash Swiss francs doing extremely well with $49 or 4.9%. And then we have the US Swiss francs with also $49, 4.9%, with the US Swiss francs in here at $41, 4.1%, and then followed by EuroCAD also at $41, 4.1%. and then stopped off with New Zealand Swiss francs. So a lot of Swiss francs in here at the moment. It is very, very strong currency. Came in at $32, 3.2%, and overall the top 5 in this particular portfolio in here made $211, 4.2% for the week, and that is obviously a very, very nice week here with some very good numbers. You'll also see the smooth curve that the Wave Liberator has. It's the one that can best also control the drawdowns. Close profit, as you can see, is above 41,000. Floating profit or loss, it has gone up. It was around 8,000. Now it's up to about 11,000. It's still doing quite well with a monthly returns of around 11% for $1,000 accounts, 3% on the weekly ones. Trade wins 68%, and then trades per day roughly around 13. And we now have plenty of information of 678 days that this particular EA has been traded. That's also why this particular one is very popular, and most of these are on the coupling service. There's only a few that we had to take off due to the IT account issues in here. So overall, how did everything in the portfolio do? Well, 440 is actually what we got in. It's better than last week and also the prior weeks. We have to go quite far back, all the way back here to April, where we did 470. So this was around the US trade war when that all started. And obviously we cashed in quite nicely there. Since then, things were a bit slow, but definitely picked up here now again. The same thing for the RSI Liberator. That one was also very slow last week. Certainly it has picked up, and the top one is the Great British Pounds USD, $61 or 6.1%. That's tremendous. We have the EuroCAD at $49, 4.9%, and then followed by the New Zealand USD with $45, 4.5%, and US CAD $38, 3.8%, and also Aussie USD, also $38, 3.8%. Also here, that particular portfolio here, there has a lot of Canadian and definitely also a few USD in here. Did $232, 4.6%, so a very strong week. And the portfolio also looks good. Close profit is more than 26,000 here now, so that is very good. Remember, we started off with, again, 22 $10,000 accounts, but we are trading as if it's $1,000. So monthly return should be actually 9%. So weekly returns a bit over 2. Trade wins is still high, 66, so that's very good. And we have actually taken more than 31,000 pips already, trades per day. Very similar to the Wave one, just a bit down on 15.2, and a lot of history, 447 days. Also makes this awesome, again, EA. We have a lot of these signals on the coupling service. We're going to transfer everything over after the summer vacation here to $1,000 accounts in here. It's going to take us a bit of time. In the meantime, let's go and have a look at the portfolio profits, and this is high, 506 for this particular week in here. You can see last week we only made 181, so very low, very disappointing. And again, we have to go all the way back to April to find some better numbers. Again, this was part of the US trade war against Mexico and Canada. Everything else started to fluctuate, so this has been a very, very good week. Also for the Hedge EA, that was also low last week, and again this one here is crushing it for the week, with the Euro USD being on top with $55, 5.5%, and then followed by the US Swiss francs, $54, 5.4%, and the Euro CAD, $53, 5.3%, and then at a bit of lower range, the US Aussie USD, $34, 3.4%, with New Zealand USD at $30 or 3%. Overall, this particular portfolio also here very consistent, as you can see, $226, 4.5%. So the Hedge EA is definitely also killing it, but it's also killing a bit with the drawdown here. It is a bit drawdown heavy still. That is very unfortunate, but monthly return still around 13% on $1,000 accounts, 3% on the weekly. Trade wins are high with 70%. Trades per day around 16, and we have a history now of 161 days. So definitely it's ramping up, and you can still find some of them on the coupling service. Also here, we're going to basically put them on new accounts after the summer vacation, we believe. History overall for the portfolio this week, 363 So that is actually up. And again, we have to go back to the same period in here. So during the April, where we had a lot of fluctuation last time, you can see exactly what happened here on the graph. Massive profits in here. After that, it has gone back. It is actually has been a bit slower for the last many weeks. Good to see that it's finally actually cashing in here. This one hasn't been slower. This is a simple grid trading EA. It hasn't really slowed down anything at all. For week 26, we see the Swiss francs Japanese is actually on top. And this is, again, numbers just for the week in here, $139, 13.9%. That should normally be numbers that you would associate with a whole month of profits, but it's not. Great British Pounds USD made $129, 12.9%, and then EuroCAD $103, 10.3%, and then Great British Pounds CAD $97, 9.7%, with the US Swiss francs at $91, 9.1%, and then a total of $558 or 11.2% just for the week. Some really, really impressive numbers with this particular EA in here. We have all of them on our website. You can go and have a look. None of them are on the copy link service, but they will be very soon. We have finally got some word from Expert Forex, and it looks like the first ones are actually going to be added on. So we'll try and make sure that that happens, so that once Alex will update it, hopefully at the end of this week or the next week, then you should be able also to basically link in and copy some of the first results we have here on this particular very, very profitable EA, as you can see so far. When we look at the entire portfolio, again, we have 20 accounts, and we have on $1,000. Balance is up to 24,630. You can see equity is also up. Floating profit and loss, and this is the same on all the grid trading EAs. You always have this following trail, and we can see closed profits is higher than the floating profit or loss. That means it's starting cashing in quite nicely. Overall here, because we are still running the entire portfolio, some are doing better than others, but the monthly return is actually going up at the moment, 9.4. Weekly returns 2.2, with the trade wins very high here, 77%. And we're already taken 21,000 pips. Trades per day, as you can see, very active, similar to the other EAs, 17, and a history of 77 days. You'll notice here that this particular one is not as smooth as it comes in here, because the way it sometimes operates is that it looks like it's going to take some losses, but that's because it's been cashing in before. You can see this particular week here, it cashed in quite nicely. Then at the end, it looks like a loss, but this is actually just, again, when it recovers, it goes in, you have the profit in here. So, and it is a bit more apparent on the next one. So where this particular week, we cashed in quite a lot. And then that was actually more than the EA was going to take in, and it will basically close the entire circle with a loss this particular time. A lot of them changed. We have also at the same time upgraded now to generation 4, most of them, for version 2. And I'm sure that also had a bit of an impact on this particular one in here, and the reason why it's a bit higher of a drop than normal. But again, this is basically the way it operates. So system grid generation 3, it is generation 3. We still have some in here. We have generation 4 and generation 4 version 1 and 2. So we are slowly but surely going all of them to version 2 of the generation 4. But there's a few we haven't managed to get some decent settings yet. So they've been staying on. But as you can see, high profit here of $1,027. And clearly that is the highest that this particular EA has ever done. But again, it also incurred some drawdowns, and that's why actually this one here drops a bit again. So most likely the right number would be somewhere around $500 or $600 instead, which is still extremely good. But yeah, that is the nature of the EA so far. And this is our video that we have made. So last week, building a Forex portfolio, and this particular one in here takes you all the way back to the basics of what you need to consider, what you need to take into account when you are setting up your first portfolio. We have done quite a few of them on the private side in the background in here. Now it was time to share exactly what kind of things that we are going through, what we are actually basically reviewing when we have to build a portfolio. So this is only the first video. There is going to be a couple of more videos in here, and obviously we are getting to the very specifics at the end of the day, and we have also managed to get some feedback. They want to see if we can build a portfolio from our coupling service. Obviously that will also be a video that we'll share with you as soon as I have time. Then we have the Lucky Trader. The Lucky Trader definitely always cashes in. This week is even better. Great British Pounds CAD comes in at $60 or 6%, so very nice numbers as you can see. Great British Pounds is again up here with $57 or 5.7%, and then US Swiss francs $53, 5.3%, and then Euro CAD $52, 5.2%, and Euro USD $50, 5%, and total of $272, 5.4%. So again, another great portfolio in here that you can follow, and the numbers in itself actually looks like this. This is the little spike from the IG account issues, but we see that we again have some numbers, balances up here, 174,000. So this is 16 accounts instead of the 20. And the monthly returns is still calculated at around 12% with a weekly return of 3. Trade wins are also high, 69.7, and pips taken by now 29,318. So very, very good numbers. Trades per day, very similar to the other EAs I showed you here, 16. And then we have a history of 239 days. So it's going well for this particular one, and that's also why you can find this through our website on the coupling service with Expert Forex. Things are looking good for the portfolio itself. Also here, it is up 520. And again, you have to go all the way back here to end of March, beginning of April to find any better numbers in here. There was a high volatility for this particular week in here that made the Lucky Trader cash in quite nicely. Now, I mentioned here also for Alex and Expert Forex, the Grid Trading Generation 4 upgrade. This is now the upgrade to version 2 in here, and there's actually put on just another leg, another bone in here, where you normally have the total amount of trades that it's going to close off, which you could see earlier on. Could look like a bit of a loss. There's an additional one in here now that can also basically close the leg of either the buy or the sell, and that should also make sure that not necessarily you're making more profit, but your drawdown will be lower, and hopefully also some of these that look like losses can be a bit smaller, so that you don't believe that there's something wrong here with the EA. We like it. We already upgraded it. It took us a bit of time because we wanted to make sure that we back tested everything and understood the EA before we start applying them even to the demo accounts. Now, this is the new video that Alex has just released. There was a few issues with it on YouTube because the results were simply too good. And basically, this is a new EA that is coming, but it's not coming right now. It might be 3 or 4 months away. So we might see this one, hopefully before Christmas. That would be very nice. And he's showing a bit on the EA, and it looks like there's multiple indicators involved in here. This is something I did discuss with him a while back, that would be great to see. It looks like he's taken that to another level in here. Obviously very complicated and very heavy EA because it takes so many things into account, but it looks like it's finding the turning points in here, and he's been trading this particular one on Bitcoin, but the EA looks to be able to trade also metals, indexes, and hopefully also Forex. That is the first news that we have gotten out. And basically on the video in here, I'll make sure that the link is in the video description below too. He's actually making 50 trades. All of the trades are actually profitable. So that is highly unusual, and maybe that's one of the reasons why YouTube actually banned it in the first place. He has made an update to this particular one here now, so you can see exactly how he can go from 1,000 all the way up to 2.1 million. Now, I'm not sure you can do that with these particular EAs in here. Our EAs are very good. This is the link to success. It's updated here on the 28th of June, so normally every weekend Expert Forex does that. what I do for you is take the Excel and then go in for the floating profit or loss. I don't want to see anything over 300 because these are $1,000 accounts. Then I have a look also on the return to total drawdown in here, and that one should be over 200. As you can see, they are quite high or even no risk. And then total negative weeks in the last 8 weeks, I don't want to see anything above 300 here either. And then I arrange it from high to low, and these are extremely good. You can see they are running from 9%, 10, 13, 16 in the 20s, and all the way up to link 1K, 131C. So that is 52% in the last 8 weeks. So 26% per week. So obviously extremely good numbers. And well, that's what you're going to get when you are getting our signals in here. Now, I promised you also to show you some of the new signals that are coming. They actually look like this. And yes, I know it's not the nice and smooth curve like you normally see on grid trading. This is nothing to do with grid trading. This is actually 4 FX Blue accounts in here that's going to be ending up on the copy link service. You can see one of them, we're all starting off with $300, and monthly returns is at the moment calculated to 19%. We have another one here also, so that is calculated to 10.8. Monthly returns for this particular one here is about 21.9. And we have one up here. What is that? Monthly returns 12.3. So all of these are the new simple RSI traders in here. And you will have some losses in here, but they are very, very minimal. You will also notice again that some of the drawdowns is extremely low for these particular ones because we only have one trade going on at the time, and we only risking a small portion of that particular trading account. It looks very good, and obviously they will be available as soon as Alex and Expert Forex get my numbers, and we'll set it up. So hopefully sometime next week you should be able to trade some of these ones here already. And as is with small accounts as low as $300, then it becomes interesting for a lot of people, and including also US traders, because this is actually something you can trade without any of your brokers having any issues with it. So this is what we have for you in this week's news report. As you can see, profits are actually pouring in. EAs are doing well. New EAs are coming up, and you have also obviously a choice to go on the copy link service and then basically start putting your own portfolio together in here to make a bit of profit. Definitely cover some of all the expenses that are gonna be here over the summer. We have a bit of family coming to join us here also, so that means I have to dial down on some of these particular videos here over the summer. So from time to time I will pop back in and check on you, and I will of course also update you on the latest and greatest what is actually still happening, but it's not going to be as systematic as we have done here in the past. So I hope that you still enjoyed the video. Please give us a thumbs up, a like, and a comment, and then I'll be back before you know it. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed our news report. So please don't forget to like and add your comment below, as we would love to get your feedback. But before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and don't forget to keep the notification bell turned on. That way you will never miss any of our future videos. We hope to see you back on this channel very soon.